Eurasia is the largest continent of our planet. These boundless steppes and mighty mountains became the cradle of the Turkic world thousands of years ago. I am Samat Tolukbay, a journalist and researcher. I follow in the footsteps of our ancestors, in the footsteps of the Turkic tribes and people who engendered a great nomadic civilization, who left our steppes and lived in different parts of the world. The School of Nomads, studying the past, creating the present, to build the future. An ancient city with a history of 2.5 millennia, Sheki. According to historians, the name of Sheki, located on the southern slopes of the Greater Caucasus, comes from the name of the Saka tribes that once inhabited these lands. This word changed from the original Saka, then Shaka, and later it began to sound like Sheki. This is one of the most famous eastern cities. In the Middle Ages, it was the capital of the world-famous Sheki Khanate. As always, I decided to start acquaintance with the city from the Regional History Museum. The layout at the entrance is an exact copy of Sheki in miniature, and looking at the ceramic dishes found here during archaeological excavations, you're convinced that the history of this region is very ancient. In general, there are many historical monuments in Sheki. One of them is an ancient sanctuary. This temple is considered a historical monument not only of Azerbaijan, but also of the entire Caucasian world. The church is located in the village of Hish, 6 kilometers from the city of Sheki, and has an ancient history. And even earlier, in the Bronze Age, the sanctuary of the Caucasian Albans was located here. Medieval historians associate this church with the name of Saint Elisha, who arrived in these parts to preach Christianity in the 1st century of our era. Modern scientists date the construction of the 12th century. However, archaeological excavations at the site of an ancient temple showed that this area was considered sacred 5,000 years ago. Under a niche in the church, archaeologists have found an ancient place for worship. A radiocarbon analysis of objects found during excavations showed that they date back to 3000 BC. This means that the first Christian preachers could remake the pagan sanctuary into a church. The graves around the church especially surprised me. Here under the glass are visible the remains of people who lived here in the 10-11 centuries. The most surprising is that their growth reaches 2.5 meters. Just imagine, just 10 centuries ago, the Kish settlement was inhabited by people 2.5 meters tall. As I said, there are enough historical buildings and monuments in Sheki. One of them is the Khan's Palace, included in the UNESCO World Heritage List.
Перед вами дворец Шекинских ханов, который был построен в 1760.
This is the palace of the Sheki Khan. It was built in 1762, during the reign of Hussein Khan. That is in the 18th century. At that time, there were 18 Khanates in Azerbaijan. Sheki is one of them, and this building is the summer residence of the Sheki Khanate.
Жилые помещения были отдельные.
In addition to the palace, there were about 40 buildings in the complex. These were residential buildings, workshops, swords, and baths. Unfortunately, not everything has survived. The palace and two plane trees have been preserved. This building is a real pearl of Azerbaijan. It is considered a unique example of the architectural art of the Caucasus of the 18th century. The two-story building is built of local river boulders and plastered with a mixture of limestone and clay with the addition of egg white. The palace, of course, was reconstructed, but most of the walls, windows, interior decoration, and patterns remained in the original form. All rooms inside the palace are decorated with various images. The only room without drawings and patterns is the secretary's room, where papers were stored and various documents were certified. This is done so as not to distract workers from their duties. All other rooms are richly decorated with paintings. Most often, geometric shapes, plants, and flowers are found. I also noticed pomegranates on many walls.
Гранат – это один из райских фруктов. Считается королем фруктов. На них есть маленькая корона. Гранат – символ богатства.
Because pomegranates are one of the paradise fruits, it is considered the king of fruits. They have a small crown. Pomegranate is a symbol of wealth, fertility, prosperity, state, and unity. There are a lot of grains inside the pomegranate. Grains are like a people, and between them there are white thin layer, and this means there are different nationalities, religions, ethnic groups in the composition of the people, and they all live together as in Azerbaijan. And if there is no unity, then there will be no state.
Не будет никакое государство.
Each drawing and pattern in the palace rooms has its own meaning. Here it is, for example, a peacock. This beautiful creature is even considered a symbol of beauty. At the same time, the bird makes quite unpleasant sounds. That is, this image represents the imperfection of the world, because even beauty has its drawbacks. Now look at this dragon. It is not flame that bursts from its mouth, but flowers. This means that the ruler must be strong like a dragon, but at the same time spread the rays of good around him.
Во дворце в первом этаже находится комната ожидания, канцелярия и диван, диван-хана, который это как зал заседания.
On the ground floor of the palace, there is a waiting room, an office, and a Khan's sofa, meeting room. There is a fountain. Khan sat near the fountain, and when he talked with his advisor, because of the noise of the fountain, no one could listen to their conversation. There are special thresholds in the doors in the rooms, because then people were sitting on the floor, on pillows. That is why special thresholds were made in order to avoid the wind.
Чтобы не было сквозняка.
If you look closely, you will notice that the doors in the rooms are low, just like in our yurts. This is also not without reason and has its value. In general, in those days people were very tall. The shortest ones reached the height of 1.8 meters. Therefore, entering the palace, they had to bow their heads before the ruler, for which such doorways were designed.
Во дворце есть две лестницы. По мусульманским традициям.
There are two stairs in the palace. According to Muslim traditions, one was for women, another for men. On the second floor there was a room of the wife of the Khan. It is red, because we consider the red the female color. It is also considered the color of the hearth, the color of fire. Without a hearth, without fire, there is no life. And without women too. Therefore, red is considered female color. On all floors, in all rooms, what kind of drawing was on the ceiling? Exactly the same carpets lay on the floor. In all rooms, the design of the carpets and ceilings were the same, and all the carpets were made of silk. The central room of the second floor was intended to receive guests. On the walls here you can see miniature images of warriors, in total about 400 figures. Among them one can find Persians, Turks, Kazakhs, Arabs, Mongols, and of course Azerbaijanis themselves. And if you look carefully, you can find the artist's autograph on these walls. His name was Abbas. Together with his students, he built this palace in 2 years, and it took him 8 years to finish the interior. In the courtyard, we found 2 huge plane trees. It turns out that they were planted 2 centuries before the construction of the palace. Just think, for 2 centuries. For the same reason, they decided to build the palace in the shade of these 2 trees. Wide branches and dense foliage of the plane tree protected the palace windows from the sun. Today these trees are 500 years old, but this is still a young age for plane trees. These trees can stand for more than 1,000 years. This is a truly amazing story. The man who planted these trees 2 centuries before the construction of the palace seemed to know what would happen in 2 centuries. Trees are planted in an ideal location, 20 meters apart. And the palace was built with the expectation of these 2 plane trees. The building is 31 meters long, 8 meters wide and 10 meters high. The exterior is not inferior to modern buildings. The palace is very beautiful and well designed. A unique feature of the palace of Sheki Khans is its indescribable appearance of windows. This stained glass art is called Jibek, which means network. According to the masters, more than 5,000 pieces of wood and glass were used in each square meter of these windows. Real craftsmen collect these stained glass windows without a single nail and do not use glue. The windows give the palace a very beautiful, magical look. I can't believe that they can be made without nails and glue. To see it with my own eyes, I go to the famous Sheki master, who knows the Jibek technique very well. His name is Tawfik. Assalamu alaikum aga. Wa alaikum assalam. How are you? Welcome to Sheki.
Қазақстан елінен келіп қалдым. Мәдениеттеріңізбен, өнерлеріңізбен, тарихтарыңызбен танысып жүрген саяхаттаушы.
Thanks. I came from neighboring fraternal Kazakhstan. I'm a travel journalist. I want to get to know your culture, art and history here. We had just been to the Khan Palace, looked at everything inside. I was especially impressed by the windows. They told me in detail about them. It turns out that most of these windows were restored by your grandfather and father, and you yourself took part. Therefore, I came to you to ask you about this art, its history, and then I would like to learn how to make such beautiful stained glass windows from you. Will you show me, teach me? I will teach. This is a very ancient craft. In fact, Jibek art originated in the 17th century. In the 12th? No, in the 17th century. Over time, they began to forget about Jibek, and only in the middle of the last century, my grandfather, the master Ashraf, revived this art again. He participated in the restoration of the palace of our Sheki Khans. The 4th generation has already mastered the art of Jibek in our family. This is my grandfather, father and I. Now I'm teaching my children too. In addition, in Sheki, there is a special school where we teach children the art of Jibek. This is a very interesting technique. We collect pieces of multicolored glass into wooden frames, and all this without nails and glue. For example, in the Sheki Khan's palace, there are windows, in 1 square meter of which 5 to 14,000 glass and wooden details are used. You're probably interested in how this technique got to us. In ancient times, local merchants transported silk fabrics from Sheki to Venice and brought Murano glass from there. This is the same ancient glass. Its thickness is 1 millimeter. But this is modern glass. It is already thicker, 3 millimeters. When the Khan's palace was restored, such millimetric glasses could not be found anywhere. As I understand it, the most important thing in the Sheki technique is glass. First, you need to depict the desired composition on paper, and then, collecting pieces of such glass here, you create a magical creation. Of course, this is easier said than done. In this case, first of all, mathematical and geometric accuracy is needed. If you make mistake for a millimeter, then you will not be able to collect a stained glass window. These glasses are needed not only for beauty, they also protect from sunlight. In general, Jibek is considered an ancient Azerbaijani art, but now it seems that it is well preserved only here, in Sheki. Tofik receives orders from America, France and the UK. The master speaks with pride about this.
Yani biz çalışırıq ki, bizim xalq sənəti ölməsin. Yaşasın.
The more orders we fulfill, the more our craft will develop. This is our goal, not to lose our art and pass it on from generation to generation. And now I would like to join your students and try to make at least a small detail with my own hands. Where to start? Of course. Now I will try to join this great art and make one small stained glass window. Maybe you will show a couple of examples, and I will finish your work. Look, this glass is inserted here. But try so that the glass fits snugly into place. The center should be blue, right? Now you put a wooden detail. Here. Yes, fix it well, like this. Now you need red glass. Here? Oh, that's how it is. Now here we need a tree, right? This also needs to be fixed here. Like this? Excellent. You learn fast. Now blue glass. Again, we make out a tree. It must be inserted here. Here, done. Now this side. Let me try to lay out the stained glass window myself. Do not prompt. We have it. No, I like that. You're good at. Now, is it here? You have abilities. Stay with us. If I stay, I will be your apprentice. Turn over. Here so. The angles must match. Well done. The last wooden detail remained. This is the last detail. I fix. Hit it from above. Now you need to gently knock on the sides. You see? Look, we made such a stained glass window without a single nail, without any glue. Such a window, it turns out, is stronger than usual. No matter how hard you strike, not a single glass will break. Wow! Look at the light, what a beauty! Excellent, it looks very beautiful.
Керемет күшті көрінеді.
You did like a real master.
Sana da zahmetin oldu bu işte.
Once you have started this business, you no longer want to stop. I want to finish the job and quickly see the finished product. Look, it seems I learned to collect. True, it was difficult for me to pick up wooden parts because they look the same, but in fact they differ in size literally by a millimeter.
Ағам не?
This part I did on my own. Look, is everything right? It turned out and really is very beautiful. Health to your hands. Thank you. You know, our Sheki is the land of masters. We have many masters. If you start from there, you can meet the master of the chests, the headdresses, their embroiders. Further, our famous halva. Get to know everyone. Good luck. Thanks. Then I'll go get acquainted and learn from these masters. I am very grateful to you. Health to your hands. And now I will introduce the whole world to your art through television screens. And I wish you not to tire of training new masters. Thank you, son, and all the best to you. Indeed, there were many blacksmiths and various craftsmen in Sheki. It's worth going into any of the shops on this street and you will find craftsmen there. Here, for example, judging by the sign, chests are made. Assalamu alaikum aga. Wa alaikum assalam, welcome.
Қалыңыз қалай? Есімім Самат болады аға. Бауырлас Қазақстан елінен келген саяхаттаушы журналистпін.
How are you? My name is Samat. I'm a traveler journalist from the brotherly Kazakh people. Passing by, I immediately noticed your chest store. It's great. We also make such chests in our country. We have the same tradition. I would like to know about the history of these chests. What role they play in your culture? Thank you, son. I'm glad for your visit. This is our family craft. I decided to continue it when I retired.
Аталарыңыз, бабаларыңыз да өз сандық істеп айналысқан ғой.
Your ancestors also made such chests. Tell us about their story. What place do these chests occupy in your life, culture? In such chests, they used to collect the bride's dowry. Now, of course, they do this less often. No one carries dowries in chests. We, turns out, we have similar traditions. We also necessarily collect such a chest when we give out the girl in marriage. Do you do all this manually? You know, one of the tasks of our program is not just to see all this and find out the story, but also to try to do something with your own hands. Can you teach me how to make such chests today? Let me show it down in the workshop. Oh, do you work elsewhere? Yes, I work downstairs. I make chests there, and here I sell. In that case, let's not waste time. Let's go to your workshop. Sadi's workshop was not far away, at the bottom of the street. Despite his age, he moves even faster than me. We reached very quickly. The master has already begun work on one chest. 70% of the work has already been done. That is, the foundation is ready. Now the chest needs to be decorated. That's what the master will teach me now. We will engrave patterns on metal. Master, you first teach me, and then I will do it to you. Do these patterns have a name?
Бұл оюлардың атаулары бар ма сіздерде?
Bunlar çıkanka dinler buna.
This is called embossing, performed like this, in the shape of a heart.
Bunu da geçmişim, bunu da geçmişim.
You see, here I have already done. It remains here. Now you try. Exactly the same pattern. Yes, do as mine. right here. Let me first draw myself, otherwise I won't be able to make the same pattern as yours.
Çok ennileme de. Buna okşatsın.
It is right. Draw. Just do not push hard. Do this here so that the patterns are the same.
Bununla neyin o? Ha öyle.
We should keep hand up. No, this side. Yes, start from here.
Ha, oradan başla. Onu sürütme eylemez.
Do not slip. Look, I hold like this. Look at how my hand moves. It draws itself.
Bu el özü gelir. Baba.
How do you get it fast? Hand should move on its own. Well done. Let me see. I think I messed up. So you'll learn. What now? Here you have to fix it. Do it again from above.
Oldu. Şimdi bak. Onu
Oh, well done.
birleştirir.
That is it. Now look, here you need to connect this pattern with this and this one with this.
Ay sağ ol.
That worked out well.
Sağ ol.
It remains here. Yes, you are a real master. We won't do anything here.
Ondan sonra
Here, I will do the edging. Look,
Bak.
that's how we get embossed.
Çıkar. Bunlar sonra tök çıkar.
The Russians call this coinage. We also have it. Got it?
Bak. Bir de bu gerek düz gitsin be.
Here let it be straight and inside fill it with patterns. There will be empty spaces. You can also decorate them with patterns.
Böyle bezek şeydir ha. Bir tane böyle bezek şeydir ha. Başa düştün, arlametleri de
Clear?
istesem özüm.
Mint patterns where you like.
Buradan git.
Now I'll try to finish it all. Every nomadic people use chests in their daily lives. This is a very convenient piece of furniture for wandering, storing clothes, and other necessary things. The sizes of the chests vary depending on the wishes of the customer. There is probably no person who does not know about chests, so I do not stay long in this workshop. Moreover, it's time to go.
Сонымен Шеки өлкөсі сұлу табиғаты мен
So we saw that the Sheki region is rich in beautiful landscapes, historical monuments, friendly and hospitable residents, skilled craftsmen and handymen. But there is still much unknown in this place, so let's leave it for the next episode. The journey to Sheki continues.